Gina Nalwoga, welcome. Now, the backbone of this is that corruption is a continuing vice and factor in Uganda's governance. As we take on to yet another step of the election cycle, we're assessing the ideology of Ugandans on corruption, on governance, but also on campaign financing, especially for candidates and political parties. And I'm glad that my guests are all candidates in this particular race. Starting with the extreme left, I do have Ivan Kyeyune, who is a candidate on the National Unity Platform card in Nakasongola Constituency. Good morning to you, Ivan.
Good morning, Priscilla.
How are you?
Very well.
Pressure yo, but wongerem. Winnie Nakandi on the Democratic Front card is also another candidate. Nakawa East is looking to have you as their leader, possibly.
Good morning, Priscilla. Good morning, Uganda.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you in my table today. And of course, Moses Muhangi, independent candidate, who's also looking to take you as a leader in Kampala Central.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you all. Let's start off by having a picture from the horse's mouth, how the nomination exercise went for each one of you. Let me start with you, Moses. How was the exercise? Was it fair for you? Was it easy for you? Did you find any challenges in going through your nomination process?
Yeah, we completed the exercise. To that extent, you could say it was okay. But in terms of management of time at the Electoral Commission was a bit not okay, because we thought we'd be nominated as early as 9 a.m. in the morning, but then we stayed there until 2 p.m. Wow. So we were overdelayed, and that in a way messed up our program for the day. We had thought we'd go and engage with our fans in Kamwocha. Then those came early, they came about 8 a.m. Then we thought we'd be there by 9, but then due to the delays at the EC, we got there at about 2, 3 p.m. So in a way, it messed us that way. But short of that, we had a good interaction with our fans. People escorted us from EC in Tinda to Kamwocha. We had a huge following of people. Our fans, people who wish us well, and I'm so happy for them, and I'm sure we'll have a good run.
This is in light of the Electoral Commission saying no processions for aspirants at that time. But anyway, Nakandi, what was the experience like?
It was generally a good experience. I did not face any challenges at all. Yes, there was the issue of time, and we had booked specific time slots, but then as we arrived, many candidates had arrived much earlier, so we ended up mixing up slots, but it was altogether good. From there, we proceeded to our venue, where we had to pass our message to our fans and supporters, and it was a good thing. We were not stopped in any way. So yes, I am really hopeful that the campaign can continue to be as peaceful as it was on that day. Okay, all right. Kyeyune, do you have a different story to tell?
Yeah, mine was different. Last week, I was receiving several calls telling me that please start disguising your movements. They are going to kidnap you. So security forces were holding meetings, and I was receiving calls that, you know, when you're going to nominate, ensure that your papers move with people that have not been moving with you. Change cars, don't sleep home. So that was a bit scaring me. So what I did, I went to EC and booked Thursday. So everyone was expecting me to nominate on Thursday, but I went on Wednesday. I went to EC in a surprise way, with no car, with nobody. Called my seconders and proposers that meet me at the office. I went and nominated silently, and nobody knew that I nominated on Wednesday. So Thursday was my main rally. So police was telling me that you nominated yesterday, we have information, you were nominated, now why are you carrying processions today? I said that all candidates are mandated to speak to their voters after nomination. So you want me, out of all candidates in Uganda, not to speak to my voters? They started now calling with the EC. Did this man nominate? EC told them, yes, he nominated. Why is he doing the rally today? That he's supposed to do it. We don't know why he didn't do it yesterday. So we started off the procession, and in that the whole day, police didn't disrupt me. We moved with a very huge crowd to Kakoge, the main rally. and we communicated to our fans.
Okay, let's start off with the argument that the campaign financing in this day and era for Ugandan democracy and politicking, especially under multi-party dispensation, has actually affected the nature of governance, has affected the nature of the vote, has affected the political participation, has even affected the competition amongst yourselves.
See money being given, like someone is distributing money, like is printing his own money. But the only comforting factor that we candidates that don't have money have, that money has never been a factor for winning an election. Maybe for the president, but all these other candidates, you can splash the money, but people have a different choice. I have seen like last nomination last week, a candidate hiring over 50 vehicles.
Just to go for a nomination.
Just to go for a nomination. Each individual that enters a car is given 20,000. I mean, 50 vehicles, let's assume each vehicle has 10 people. That's 200,000 per vehicle. Less the money that has hired the vehicle. That's a lot of money. Talk about the motorcycles that are going to escort that person.
Borders.
Candidates who have come just out of school, who have not worked yet, who don't have the sureties to put to money lenders or banks to get the money, cannot compete with those people. So it is a scenario that people are creating a picture that without money you cannot be a leader. People have reached extents of doing things that members of parliament shouldn't be doing. For example, someone comes and tells you we are constructing boreholes. There you are stretching to responsibilities that are not speculated for a candidate. People who have come out of school, young people, are being kicked out of politics because of such leaders. You have spoken about the Honorable Sekabira from Katikam North. During his campaigns, last elections, I was with him. He's my good friend and is a neighboring constituency to Nakasongola. He promised in his manifesto that he will construct a radio station in Luwero, something that will help emanate information to the population that votes him. After buying all the transmitters, connecting all this stuff in the house, in the building, security operatives came at night, broke into the building, took everything, all transmitters, all equipments. We are wondering now, does government fight information? Is government against putting up radio stations? Does government fight leaders who don't support them?
But it also begs the question, is that the primary role of the Honorable Member of Parliament? Did we send them to Parliament to come back and set up radios for us, especially in this day and era where communication has found new faces and new ways to come to us?
Let me quickly answer that. Opposition leaders have been banned from speaking from government radio stations or government owned TV stations. What is wrong with the leader having capacity to create a station where he will send information to the people? People around Greater Luwero are farmers, pineapple farmers, the cattle rearers. If an opposition leader is stopped or is being is being abolished from speaking from government stations, it is mandatory to a leader to create ways of how
it's not mandatory. There's no way it's there mandated to create to put up the radio station. But anyway, that's a discussion that's diverting away from what we're trying to unpack here. Campaign financing. Moses, Kyeyune there has said that with money things can't move. With monies you can't be a leader. You've been a leader in a different facet altogether, and you have understood continuously the importance of money in order to move the agenda and the activities that must be of the responsibilities of the offices that you've held previously. And so we cannot negate the fact that money is crucial to be part of this business. Money is crucial to be part of the democratic competitiveness, isn't it?
Well, when it comes to electoral processes, I think we wouldn't want to zero so much on the issue of money. Well, it's happening, but I think it's very bad for our system, our democracy, because like you rightly pointed it out, corruption or efforts to do the corruption in an electoral cycle, they only lead us into getting leaders that we deserve, not the leaders that we need. You know, there's a huge difference there, because if whoever gives corruption, if you're corrupt, it's two-way. You're either giving or taking. So you're going to find that voters have been pushed to a corner whereby they're saying, if you give me something, I'll vote for you. Now that means you're going to get a corrupt leader at the end of the day, because you're both corrupt. You as a voter and also the one who's asking for a bribe, who's giving you the money. So you find that the leaders we've chosen over the years, they don't represent us fully in parliament or whichever position they are contesting for, because they bought their way to whatever they are. So you find that this affects us at the end of the day. We don't get the services we are looking out for. We don't get the promises we are looking out for, because this particular candidate bought their way to the office they are into. So for me, I think we need to get to a point where we have these civic conversations whereby our voters can get to a point of understanding that you need to choose a leader that has shared the manifesto with you, so that you understand what they are promising to do for you and what you need to demand from them. I've also seen leaders who hide under political parties. Someone says, oh, me, I'm for NRM, for example, or I'm NUP. NUP has a manifesto, so me, I don't have a manifesto of my own. And then you ask yourself, so what if your party doesn't win? Then what will you tell the people? What have you promised them? So I think we need to get to a point whereby we vote for people based on their manifestos, regardless of whether you're in a political party or you're an independent kind of candidate. You must share with us what are you going to do for us at that particular position you're aspiring for, so that then voters can choose for you based on your manifesto.
Okay.
Yes.
Break it down for us as you're planning for your campaign. What's your strategy, especially in terms of those strategies that need financing?
Yeah. For me, as a candidate in Kampala Central, we'll focus so much on engagement with our voters. We'll do lots of door-to-door. We'll walk on foot. We'll get there, look for where they are, talk to them, show them that we are the right people to represent them, because this has more to do with them actually. Ideally, it should be the voters giving you money, if there's any money to be given to someone, because they are sending you to represent them, to champion for their causes, to office where they cannot represent themselves to. So it should be a collaboration of both the candidate and the voters to understand their common problems, their common interests, so they can now go and fend for themselves. So for me, it's going to be more to do with engagement, having civic conversations, so that people can be able to understand that you're going to represent for their best.
All right. Yeah. Moses Muhangi, people know you in a different facet. So for you to come into the political arena, they're expecting more than words from you, number one. So you're going to knock at Naroga's door in Kampala Central and to give them your manifesto of words, and they tell you, in a way, you get a.
And that's the challenge now. The moment they say, that means now you've compromised their decision making, you've biased it. So either way they will vote for you, but again you may not fully represent them.
But
so
if you want to get into parliament, then don't you have to do what is being done by the rest to get into parliament? You
see, these narratives can be changed. There's been a narrative of I bribe you, I give you money, you vote for me. But
it doesn't have to be money, it can be sugar,
soda, whatever you want to call it, But for us, we want to start a generation whereby we can engage people, get back to the basics, talk to people, show them what you're going to do for them, make that kind of collaboration with them that has nothing to do with the exchanges of goodies. So for me, as Moses Muhangi, my campaign is going to be about engagement, people sharing my manifesto with people, my ideas, my experience, my exposure, so that people can vote for me based on that.
Okay.
But if they choose to vote for people based on the other exchanges of goodies and things like those, you're going to find that that's the challenge we've been having, of having bad representation, and that has costed us. That's why we have a bad city, we have bad roads, we have bad working environments in the markets. That's why people are struggling. That's why people are still poor, because they can't get out of that situation, because whoever you voted for wasn't the right person. So you go to a leader that you deserve, not the leader that you need.
Okay, now let's talk about the other realities on ground. I know that each one of you, in one way or another, there's lobbyists in this business. As you're heading into campaigns, there are those phone calls that are coming through. Strategy to Gina, Yaisawa Gundi, to took Gundi to parliament, we can also take you to parliament. Just do ABCD squared. Of course, it comes with some money. How have you dealt with those? Because I know that you have all received those phone calls, had those interactions, people have called you to those meetings.
Yes, the reality is, in this exercise, there are so many people with different interests. Someone will call you that I am going to help you in this, but we must agree on ABCD. we are in a very desperate mode in this period. We need fuel, we need food, like moving with those people, going on meeting people in different parishes and villages. You have a team that moves with you. That team that spends a whole day with you has a family behind. And those coordinators all throughout the constituency have also families. So in the process, when you're meeting people, you also meet those people with different interests that you will serve. We, like personally, I have centered so much on problems that are really affecting the people. That's why actually my nomination, people solicited funds for me because they believe I can help them overcome the issues that affects them. We have a burning issue in Nakasongola. Government announced last month, I think, that they're going to construct a nuclear plant there, which is going to evacuate a whole sub-county. So the people there are now worried. Those are people who were affected in the 70s by the Amin War. They ran to actually sub-region. Thereafter settling back, the time they actually chased them away, they never brought any property. They left property there. They left their cattle there. When they settled here, it is now a little bit of comfort. They are now looking at how they can sustain their lives. Now government wants them to evacuate. I came and told them that there could be better options. We have a central reserve forest. If government really wants to construct a nuclear plant that can affect over 70,000 people, why not put that plant on the central reserve forest land and leave these people settled there? So that information itself has led to the whole population to rally behind me because they see there is hope. We have a lake there, Lake Choga. 10 years back, government came, disguising like they're going to fight bad fishing. They put military on the lake. Ever since, military has now settled there as landlords on the lake. If you don't pay military, you cannot access the lake. Those people have beaten people there. They have terrorized people. When I come out and tell them that, you know what, this is a natural resource that God gave us to the people of Nakasongola, it is us to benefit, not the army. Actually, the army that is beating up people there, they're not natives. There are people that are being brought from Entebbe, from wherever, to come and terrorize people there. So such information, when I come and give them courage, give them hope, maybe after believing in me, they don't ask for these trivial things. Me, I have not had scenarios where I meet people and they ask me for soda, because I tell them that on the land that you guys are settling, you don't have the land titles. We have absent landlords, and many of you have settled on public land. Now, if you ask me for soda, assuming I have bought you a bottle of soda today, have you bought the place permanently where you are settling? Have you got the clean water that you need? If you look so much on the trivial things, if the drought comes, will you be able to get clean water or water for your animals? So the general picture that I explained to the people has led to Kyeyune not spending so much money, because they know I have lived with them. I have not had a government job that maybe I have access to that big deal.
That's your case, but Nakandi here in Nakawa East, my friend, she has to swim with the big sharks. They're spending money, and so the temptation to spend money or to get some loans to be able to also do something in your own name as you are campaigning through the season, it's a pressure. How are you managing that?
It is not easy at all. The advantage I have is that my standing in Nakawa East was an initiative of the people. Because I was originally standing for Kampala MP. So as I bowed out of that race, the people during that period of time,
no, come to
tell me, please come here, please come here. They called me there. They coined my slogan, "Your Voice of Reason," because that's what they see in me. So I've been fortunate to not experience, but I know those demands are always there.
But you're not guaranteed. They might have called you to, be nominated there, but you're not guaranteed that you're going to be the one.
Definitely, but where I have passed, for example, just like Ivan said, where I have passed, people are showing me good vibes and they're even fundraising for me. However, I want to thank the Electoral Commission for one thing, although it's very difficult to emphasize and, you know, and even guarantee. But at least the Electoral Commission always has tried to remind the people through media about the roles of a member of parliament, but has also made some effort to see that there is reduced financing in campaigns. For example, it is clear now, even where we go in churches and barriers and wherever, it is very clear that after nomination, when you're a candidate, you cannot spend any money on voters, or it will be voter bribery. So we remind them of that, educate them of that, you know, because there isn't enough civic education in this period of time. So as we are campaigning to get these positions, we're also doing civic education alongside.
So as our time is fast spent, I know that this is just a journey that's beginning for each one of you, but I know that in your good of hearts, there's some reforms, there's some ways that you can advise yourselves or people in your line of structure and strategy that is less monetary to be able to, one, go through this season without spending that much or corrupting the vote that much using finances. And so each one of you, I'm going to ask you a minute to just give us what is that reform or what is that policy or strategy that can be adopted to curb campaign financing that influences the vote?
Very quickly, EC should ask all candidates their source of income, because people steal a lot of money from government and come into politics and spoil the level ground for all candidates. If a candidate is going to nominate, they should be able to account for the source of money that they are spending. Other than that, people come with too much dirty money and they come with impunity. You've seen candidates who kidnap their rivals and they want to be unopposed.
So Electoral Commission should put people to account where the money comes from, that they're spending and how they're spending it also. All right, Nakandi.
Sustainably, the salary of MPs should reduce. I mean, the fact that being an MP is seen as very, very, very lucrative. It's why we have this kind of obscene campaign spending and also pushing out fellow candidates and maybe even kidnapping them. So in the meantime, we just have to continue with the civic education. It's unfortunate that this is on our shoulders as candidates. We have to do this alongside our campaigns and remind the people that this is not only illegal, but it also deprives them of effective and formidable representation.
Moses Muhangi, as you're knocking on the doors of Kampala Central.
Yes. For me, I think what is important is for once we get into Parliament, hopefully, is that we amend the electoral laws so that we can provide for more checks for whoever is going to run for member of Parliament or for whatever position. Because most of the time it's just about now the educational requirement, but there should be other issues, background, exposure, someone that has a history of leadership. There should be more details that qualifies one to run for office, so that can eliminate people who are a bit only about throwing money around and buying their way out. So that aside, also we should engage so much into civic education of our voters and ourselves as well, so people can get to know that we must start voting for leaders that we need against those that we deserve.
All right, it's been a continuing and growing vice that the depth of one's pocket is the depth in which they can put enough votes for them to get into a parliament as a parliamentarian. And that is a worrying trajectory. Should it keep that way? Well, not. Our guests this morning have provided some solutions. If only the Electoral Commission can look into the sourcing and funding of some of these big spenders, but really any player that is coming in on any elective level. And then salary reductions for members of parliament, so that it's not an attraction to just go and make money or mint money, but it is actually to do the due diligence, and that's the role and responsibility of a parliamentarian. Then finally, also amending electoral laws so that we can have a check and balance on the quality and crop of leaders that we are having. So far, lots of disappointment by different voices of the 11th Parliament and how it's conducted itself, and maybe some of these solutions, if thought through, can actually help us have a better 12th Parliament. But the power lies in your hand, and that hand must be an informed hand in order to then place the right vote. Morning at NTV will continue giving you more civic education on that. We do have a civic education program.